My name is the B-I-G-G-R-B-B, Bigg Robb, with an exclamation point on it. And this is my story. A long time ago, I guess my mom and my daddy, they said they was listening to Ray Charles. You know, the nighttime is the right time. And about 9 months later, I appeared. Man, I think back to being a little bitty kid, man. I mean, like 2 or 3 years old, and I would be hanging out with my grandmother's house or hanging out over my cousin's, my auntie's house, and the grown folks would be doing what they doing, and I would be sitting in front of the component set, man, with these Motown 45s, and I became addicted to a group called the Jackson 5. I'm still the Jackson 5's biggest fan, and so I've been fooling with this music all my life. Even before I became an entertainer, I was just a fan of good music. You know, before I got into the Southern soul business, for over 2 decades, I was a member of a world famous group called Zapp, featuring Roger and Zapp, which was led by the late great Mr. Roger Troutman and the Troutman family. And I was blessed to hook up with them. Before I actually started going on the road with them, I apprenticed with a gentleman by the name of Bootsy Collins. And in my hometown, a lot of famous groups come from out of there, like Midnight Star, the Isley Brothers, Bootsy Collins, you know what I mean, so many people. And so I was just blessed. I started out as a DJ at first, as a little kid, the youngest DJ in my city. And man, then I progressed into hanging out with the guys who was making music and seeing how they made records and learning things I didn't even know I was learning. And then I started touring and going around the world with the Zapp band. I did that for over 2 decades, with and without Roger. After we lost him, we continued to go on. Man, you know, in 1998, we had the pleasure of being on Soul Train.
Yo, check this out, y'all. First things first, before we go any further tonight, can we get everybody out there to do us one favor? And that is, put your hands together for the man up above, y'all.
And that was wonderful. And then we also had the pleasure of going to Aruba with Sinbad, the comedian. He did his big funk festival every year, and he invited Roger and Zapp down there. We got a chance to go down there, and I was on there, man, and he gave me the opportunity, Roger did, and Sinbad did as well, gave me the opportunity to stand on stage and go in front of 40 million people on HBO and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. So no matter what, I let my light shine. And the next thing I know, man, Roger's gone. Tragically, we lose him and his brother Larry. And man, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. This is my bread and butter. I got 3 babies and a wife at home, mortgages due, bankruptcies and IRS and all types of drama going on financially. And I meet a guy by the name of Mel Waiters, who at that point was becoming a Southern soul blues legend. He took me to Malaco Records in Jackson, Mississippi, and allowed me to do a remix of his song, The Hole in the Wall. And I've been Southern soul pimping ever since.
The parking lot's filled with Cadillacs and Jeeps. Ladies looking lovely from their nails to their hair. Yeah, get up in there, the hole in the wall. Came out, just a good time. That song, that's on.
I ran up on a song and it was by The Problem Song.
The Problem Song.
Guess what that song was called?
What was that song called?
It was called Running Out of Line.
The same thing it took.
The same thing it took.
Slash Running Out of Lies medley.
Guess what? It's still in the computer.
It's still in. Does that mean it's still in rotation?
It's still in rotation.
12 years and 4 months
12
later.
years and it's still in rotation.
I'm gonna call up Bart and let him know.
You let Bart know that song is still
Now,
in
Si,
rotation.
tell him about the Hole in the Wall remix.
The Hole in the Wall remix.
You know, we're going up on the 16th year anniversary of that.
That's right. I remember that very, very well. Mel Waiters came out with a song called Hole in the Wall. Bigg Robb put a twist to it, and he came out with the Hole in the Wall remix. Good God.
Man, I did a song dedicated to all the plus size women, because I still love plus size women, always. The song was called the Big Woman Song.
Ain't nothing wrong.
And I was still in the Zapp band. That was my day job. But at nighttime and the weekends when Zapp was not playing, I would go out and try to promote this record, and many wonderful DJs started playing it. Some folks call them plus size, big boned or fat. I call them sexy, and I like them just like that. And that one kicked it off. And then after that, I decided to start my group. I had this vision of, man, if I could just take a group of guys, kind of like George Clinton did with Parliament Funkadelic and Roger did with Zapp and Roger, where you could have the same core unit, but you could call it different things, so you could have more than one record on the radio at the same time. So they was already playing a Bigg Robb record. I said, well, man, let me come up with something that I can get another record on the radio at the same time. And so I started my group called the Problem Solvers. And I took an old Johnny Taylor song called Running Out of Lies and flipped that beat. And man, changed the name of the song to the same thing it took. And that song blew up for me. And that really, really let people know that Bigg Robb was a force to be reckoned with out here in the soul blues game. Absolutely. I would say that first of all, I'm a child of God first, husband and a father second, a record producer and an entertainer third, you know, and then that mixed with the songwriting and everything. I don't necessarily consider myself a vocalist. I can get the job done, especially if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and all the other guys quit. The one thing I've had to deal with a lot in my career is people who present themselves. They say, hey man, I want to go rock with this, I want to do this, I want to do that, but when it comes time to having to sleep in that car on the side of the road, or you got to get out there and sell them CDs and do what we call that hand-to-hand combat, guys give up. But God has always given me the tenacity and the strength and the vision to keep going on. So yeah, I do it all, man. I program the drums, and you know, I own drum machines and keyboards, and I play the keyboard parts, and I have a staff of musicians who assist me in the whole process. And I record the songs, I engineer them, I mix them. We take the album cover, my son designs the album cover. My daughter puts the rhinestones on here, my wife put the fur on the outfits. It's a family affair. Absolutely, man. You know, it's very emotional for me because I started out, Bootsy was the first guy who ever believed in my true musical ability like that. Like, he came to the projects, I was 14 to 15 years old. Like I say, DJing back in the day, he wanted me to rap on a little song or something, but he parked his car, came up in there and told my mama, said, hey, let your son go with me, Miss Smith, and I got him. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. To him, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to your baby. And he didn't, you know what I mean? And so he was one of my first mentors and one of the first guys, him and his brother Catfish. They, you know, put their arms around me, man, and just, you know, raised me up like a nephew, man, like a son. And so Bootsy is the king of glitz and glamour. Him, Little Richard, Elvis Presley, Liberace, those dudes is the guys who set the trends. And even to this day, if you look at Lady Gaga, whoever it is people think is over the top, if you go back and find some pictures some 40 or 50 years ago, that Bootsy, or like I said, Little Richard, Liberace, Elvis Presley, those guys are the ones who started all the glitz and the glamour. Oh man, good loving to make you cry.
Get it on, good loving.
It'll make you cry.
When it's good.
Good loving will make you cry. Man, my friend, his name is Carl Marshall, and I love him. I went to him and said, Carl, I got an idea. I want to flip your song, Good Loving to Make You Cry. And I want you to do this, whoop-de-whoop. He went in the studio and did what it was that I asked him to do and sent me his vocals. So he went and sung the song. And he sent it to me, and I don't know what he thought I was going to do with it, but I just heard it a certain kind of way and put it together. And man, I'll never forget. The first time I ever heard the song, I was on tour in Japan. I had just sent it to this big ABC Networks radio station on Thursday. I hopped on a plane Friday morning to go to Japan, to go out and do the Zapp shows. We in Japan. And I'm sitting there in the tour bus and just happened to be, well, it wasn't happened to be, it's always God. This song that I just made, Good Loving to Make You Cry, that I just made in Ohio on Thursday, I'm listening to it come across the radio in Tokyo, Japan. And I knew it was going to be a hit and it was going to be a monster. And right now, I can't do a Bigg Robb show. There's certain songs I have to sing. And Good Loving to Make You Cry, that put bread on the table, and then they put bologna on top of the bread, and they put mayonnaise and Miracle Whip on the sandwich, you feel me? Oh my goodness, Keep On Swinging, Grown and Sexy, which we were blessed to have that put in a Tyler Perry movie. The Sugar Shack remix, Good Loving to Make You Cry, Let Me Take You to the Crime Zone, Fill It Up, I Need a Drink. Oh my goodness. And if I get drunk tonight, somebody please, please make sure I get home. Oh my goodness, man. Well, I think that, man, first of all, I'm just happy to be a child of God. But in the Southern Soul world, it's very, very interesting because we have a lot of young guys that's coming up, and then we have a lot of my peers, guys such as Tucker, Pokey, Sir Charles Jones, the king of Southern Soul, Omar Cunningham, Willie Clayton, TK Soul, you know what I mean, O.B. Buchanan, so many wonderful folks, man, Karen Wolf, Miss Jody. And man, I just get to hang out with them and go do a lot of shows and have a lot of fun. And my average day starts off with me either at the studio, making a record, because I'm constantly making records and doing music, or in a rehearsal hall somewhere trying to perfect the Bigg Robb show, so that when we come to your city, we can turn that place upside down and you can forget about your troubles and you can go and run tell somebody, that boy Bigg Robb is a clown.
Me of the biggest, baddest B-I-G-G-R-O-B-B that I know, and that happens to be Bigg Robb.
That's, you know what I mean, that's what my day is like, constantly making an outfit, constantly buying rhinestones, constantly trying to get better. Man, on my wall hanging in the studio, I've got the gold records for Zapp and Roger, I Want to Be Your Man, Computer Love, the platinum plaques for, the California Loves, Mo Bounce and an Ounce, and all that stuff, from being a part of that. And that's my goal, is to take the Southern Soul genre to that level, to be able to sell the kind of records in Southern Soul and have the kind of success in this day and age that we had back in the day with that type of music. And I believe that we're gonna be able to get there, because that's what I do. My new album is called Good Music, and that's what it is. It's an album packed with that. Most artists nowadays, they just trying to get what they call a single. I'm old school, so I grew up on Stevie Wonder, Jackson 5, Motown, Parliament, Earth, Wind & Fire. Those are guys who made albums and records back in the day. You put the needle on it and it just play. One song after the song, after the song, after the song, after the song is good. And that's what people get when they buy a Bigg Robb CD, good music. There's Bigg Robb fans all around the world, because when you put on a Bigg Robb record, you hear all kinds of genres of music. So yes, I have the Southern Soul, best Southern Soul you want to hear. But I also got that old school funk, because I'm a funkadelic to heart, you know what I mean? And then we got ballads, we have inspirational songs. I mean, that's where songs like Please Don't Judge Me come from. Songs like I just did with Miss Shirley Murdoch, my big sister, Don't Let the Rain Steal Your Sunshine. So, I have fans all around the world. It's not just in Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama. Of course, it is there, and I love my people, and I stay around there. But there's also Bigg Robb fans who hit me up from Tokyo, Japan. There's Bigg Robb fans who hit me up from London, England. Man, as a matter of fact, I just found out that they're playing my music in China. So, man, I want to go abroad and travel. I got my passport ready, baby. What I'm hoping that the good Lord will do is give me more time here on this earth, and man, so I can do nice, wonderful things for my family, who I love, my wonderful children, my wonderful wife, my next door neighbors, even my little puppy, I love him too. And also so that, I can take this music somewhere and I can be a blessing to the world and let my light shine. My favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. For we know all things work together for them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And that says all things. So no matter what, trouble don't last always. And just hopefully I can just inspire some folks to keep going, man. That's my goal and that's my dream. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I met a brother out of Yazoo City, 662 Films, cousin Mike, Larry Ingram. He's a bad man. He's worked with me on my Twitch video, I Need a Drink video, Love You Down video. Just work with me and the whole Bigg Robb team. And why not make movies? I was inspired as a little kid. I remember the black exploitation movies like Dolomite and Willie Dynamite and Superfly and all that. And so I want to bring some comedy and some fun, because in our neighborhoods, in the black community right now, we miss it's a whole segment of entertainment that we're missing. Ain't no more Jet magazines, ain't no more Ebony magazines, no more Right On or nothing like that. So I want to be able to bring something and do it. I see Mike Epps doing it. I see Cat Williams doing it. I even see my main man Pokey Bear doing it. So I want some of that chicken too. Well, I've been in the music business ever since I was a baby, since I was a little kid, My cousin started out, he's a guitar player, Ricardo Bray, and I looked up to him and looked up to Jackson 5. And the biggest thing I found as being a recording artist is you need to respect your history. And that's my advice I would give to any up and coming artist is just respect the history. You know, don't think it's all about you, and go and see who else has tried to do this before you. And you'll find there's been a lot of bad cats out here. So the world don't need no great singers. The world don't need no great entertainers, because they already got video and YouTube of Michael Jackson, James Brown, Prince, Al Green, the Isley Brothers, Charlie Wilson, the Temptations. So there's nothing special about any of us. It's just our dream, and we want to give it to the world. So just stay humble, man. You know what I mean? Just stay humble and respect those who came before you, and try to learn something. Don't think, because ain't nothing new up under the sun but you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing that even I found out, is that when I was a younger buck coming along, you know, sometimes I was hard-headed and the old heads would try to tell me something, and I wouldn't like listen to it, man, because I was like, oh, y'all old, y'all played out. Just to get up the street and find out, like, damn, that man told me if I roll the car window down and spit out, and I don't turn my head a certain kind of way, it's gonna end up all on my face. So, you know, respect your elders, love your craft, work hard at it. Don't expect nobody to give you nothing. And if you find yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning sitting there with your music and tears streaming down your face because you just are frustrated, just know that that's the same thing that happens for everybody that loves their craft. Frustration, but trouble don't come always, and it don't last always.